Go ahead, Maribel.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Your Dream Launch TV show. I'm really excited to have you. This is Maribel Jimenez, known as the Dream Launch Mentor. And this show was really just inspired to share with you, entrepreneurs out there, men and women, who want to create a dream business online. And of course, I'd love the idea of being able to connect with you on video. And so that's the purpose of this show. I'm inviting experts here. We're covering lots of different topics around creating your dream business online. And as you may know, a little bit about me, I've been able to build a six-figure business from home while raising 3 kids. And I'm really just passionate in sharing how you can do that too. And, you know, it wasn't always this way. And so very appropriately, I am sharing about the new Superwoman because that was really part of my path. Just a few short years ago, you know, I left my six-figure job to create a business for myself. And I immersed in learning just how do you create a business online. In doing so, I worked a ton of hours. I worked myself to exhaustion. And I realized one day that I just didn't want to live that way anymore. It took me breaking down and really getting to my lowest to really check in with myself and see what could I be doing differently. I craved three things at that time, and I craved and I prayed about how could I have more peace, more playfulness, and more prosperity in my business and in my life. And in that moment, a new vision was born. I decided that it was time for me to go on a journey. It was time for me to figure out how could I create this for myself? How could I create this in my life? And so that's where the new Superwoman pathway was born. So I want to share the 7 areas of the Superwoman, and then from that place, so you can see a little bit about what is the new Superwoman, I want to introduce my panel who's joining me today, who I view as superwomen themselves. Are doing amazing work in the world, working with men and women, working with entrepreneurs online. They have amazing businesses and an amazing heart and passion to serve at that level. So I'm going to introduce them shortly. You'll see that they're here with us today. But I want to just tell you a little bit more about this new superwoman and what are the 7 areas. So the 7 areas were really my path. This is what I went through to really embrace this area of my life. And so it all started with the core number 1 is the new Superwoman vision. So it took me really getting clear about what is it that I desired for my life. I had to let go of limiting beliefs and really embrace what is it that I desired. And so in that, of course, that's when the peace, playfulness, and prosperity showed up very clearly, that if I could just embrace and have that in my life, I feel like I would have total success. The second component, the second big piece in that pathway was really embracing my inner feminine. So I learned how could I really tap into who I was as a woman, embrace that, and unleash the powerful woman that I was. And I was all covered up at that time. And so it took a journey and coaching and mentoring in that area. And I'm glad, you know, Karen is here, who's a big supporter and has a lot of knowledge around that area. The third component is creating superwoman relationships that support your business and life. And so, you know, where I was in my journey was I didn't have support, or I didn't ask for the support. And so it took me looking inward and seeing where could I get support in my business and in my life that would allow me to run from overflow and not run from fumes. So that's the third area around relationships, superwoman relationships. The fourth area was embracing superwoman wellness. And this is all about, you know, really honoring my body, honoring myself, taking care of myself. And that was really important, again, to be able to support what I wanted to create in the world. So it took some mentoring, it took teaching all around how do you do that? How do you really nurture your body and honor it so that you can, again, run from the overflow and not from exhaustion or from fumes, as I would say. The fifth area, which is one of the biggest areas, was healing. So really just healing any inner blocks that that kept me from that flow of the peace, playfulness, and prosperity. So I did a lot of healing work. This is a major area of the Superwoman vision. The message is healing work. I'm glad Gail is joining us today because she is a healer, and I did a lot of work with Gail around healing just the areas of my life that were very painful and traumatic that I needed to heal in order to really step into what I was here to do in the world. And the sixth component was taking a leap. It's all about leaping into Superwoman prosperity. As I mentioned, my goal was to create prosperity in my business and my life. And so it meant being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It meant taking quantum leaps in my life and being willing to do that over and over again and embrace that it was going to be uncomfortable to create something big in my business. And it continues to be. and I embrace that and have fun with that. And the seventh area is really what I call the flow, and this is about staying in the flow of peace, playfulness, and prosperity, and that's about daily practice, right? When you're not in the flow, checking in to see what can you be doing to get back in the flow. I'm glad I have Laura Weintraub here, who's going to be sharing a little bit shortly, who really embodies that daily practice and being really grounded and peaceful in order to support all the work that we're doing in the world. So those are the 7 areas of the New Superwoman vision. And really, the New Superwoman is a term that came to me when I was in this space. It became my mission. How could I support other women in the world to really create this for themselves? And so how I define the New Superwoman, it's a woman who embraces life on her own terms, redefining what's important, and doing what nurtures her, tapping into her femininity, it's a hard word to say, and her passions, and designing a life around that fulfills that. And for me, it was about creating peace, playfulness, and prosperity in my business and life, but it's embracing all the things that are important to you and creating that in your life and really just taking charge of that. So it's not the opposite, which is Superwoman syndrome, which is trying to be all things to everyone. So that's really what the Superwoman vision is all about. That became my mission to create that in my own life. And in that way of being was I then able to create a business that was very prosperous in teaching people how to launch in their business and in their life. So it's a way of being every day that supports the work that I do in the world, and it's a passion that I have in sharing how you do that. And of course, I'm not the one with all the answers. I collaborate with really amazing entrepreneurs, really amazing women, and some of them are going to be joining us today and in the next 2 shows to really focus in, because again, it's part of the Superwoman vision is collaborative, is that we all have gifts in the world, and when we can support each other, we can create really big change in the world, and supporting each other to enjoy that process. So from that, I actually want to introduce the guests that are here with us today. So when I call your name, if you can wave so everybody knows, we have Gail Fitzgerald. So if you want to wave, Gail.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Glad you're here. And we have Karen Leckie here joining us.
Hi there.
Hello. And we have Laura Weintraub here with us today.
Hi.
Hi there. And then you'll also see that Kim Beasley is here, and she's the producer of this Google show. So she's here to support, make sure everything runs smoothly. So glad you're here, Kim. You're giving me peace just knowing that you're here, making sure that everything runs smoothly. So what I'd like to do from this place is, the guests that are joining us today are a few of the women that are participating in the New Superwoman book. So as I mentioned, this is a vision that started, almost 2 years ago, and a whole summit was created around this message in supporting women. It was so well received that people continue to ask for more and how to connect with other women and how to really be supported around this message. So from this place, there is a book in creation, and so we have some of the co-authors. Everyone who's here, besides Kim, are co-authors of the book, and very excited to share that. We have a lot of new things coming around this New Superwoman message, the vision, just being able to support women in a big way. So I'm super excited that the first show is actually focused on this. So with that, I actually want to invite, we'll just kind of go in the same order. want to invite each of the Superwoman co-authors to just share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your own journey, and so that others can kind of understand, what drew you to the new Superwoman vision, participating. You each have, of course, amazing gifts that contribute to this mission. So if you can, just share a little bit about yourself, share a little bit about your journey and how you support women. So we're going to start with Gail.
Okay.
So I can't hear Gail. Am I the only one that can't hear her?
I can't actually hear her either.
Gail, can you hear us?
Person to align with the natural cycles in their life. And that's really important as a new Superwoman
Gail? We can't hear Gail. What can we do, Kim? And I want to hear what she's saying. What can we do, Kim, to help Gail out so that people can catch what she's sharing? Maybe what we'll do, I don't know what you suggest, Kim, but we could probably move over with Karen while we work on that technology. Why don't we do that? So I'm actually, Gail, I hope you can hear me. I'm going to move over to Karen to see
Maribel,
if there's anything.
Go ahead. I just muted Gail because we can't hear her, so go ahead, Maribel.
I want to hear what she's saying. Okay, we're going to move over to Karen Leckie to go ahead and share. We're having some technology issues.
What I'll do is try to get Gail on the phone. How about that?
Okay, sounds great. So, so let's move over to Karen. If you want to share, Karen, while we work out the technology with Gail.
Hi there. My name is Karen Leckie, and I help visionary entrepreneurs to find their divine destiny and to share their inner light with the world. And you wanted me to share, okay, I'll share a little bit about my journey. So,
yes.
About my journey, and can you hear me okay? Is everything working out well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my journey, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 4 years ago, and I went on an alternative healing journey to heal myself in Brazil and Peru, and I really hit rock bottom with the healing that I had to go through to heal my own self through cancer, and later on going through the process of chemotherapy, a double mastectomy, and recently just finished radiation. So this journey, I am very, very, very familiar with what Maribel is sharing here around hitting rock bottom, hitting that place where you feel like you've gone through a personal tsunami. That's what I like to call it. I call it my own personal tsunami that kind of wiped out everything that I knew and understood and my reality, and I had to completely start all over again. And so that is really my passion, is to help women entrepreneurs who kind of hit rock bottom in their life and go through some sort of major traumatic whether it's an illness or an injury or a divorce or a death or some kind of major trauma, or what I like to call a defect, because a lot of the inner light workers that I work with have some sort of either disease or addiction or major thing that they're dealing with, while at the same time still trying to build a business, which is actually very difficult. So that's really my passion, and I'm so glad to be part of this with Maribel and just helping this idea of we try to be a superwoman, we try to be everything to everyone, but in the end it all comes down to taking care of your own self first. So I'm so passionate about this mission. I'm so honored to be part of it, and I'd love to share more with the listeners and the viewers.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. I don't know what happened to my screen. It's looking a little bit funny, but I'm just going to keep going with that. So I appreciate you sharing, Karen, because I know that you've had quite a journey, and even 18 months ago, so I know the viewers don't know, or maybe some of you may know, that 18 months ago was a new Superwoman Summit. So I joined together with 26 amazing women to share around this message. And it was amazing because so many people connected and resonated, because I know for myself, for most of my life, I tried to be all things to everyone. I tried to be as perfect as I could, and it was not very fulfilling. And so in that, we came together with this really powerful message of there is a different way of being, and it's not that you just arrive there either. There is a matter of tools and practices that we taught, and I know Karen and Gail and Laura, you know, and others taught really amazing processes, and we shared a message around that it's a daily flow, it's a daily practice to get into that place, and it becomes very fulfilling to just stay very grounded, to enjoy life today, not wait until you feel like, you know, you've created success, which is what I used to think. You have to wait until I'm successful before I could deserve to take time off, and it was the opposite. It's take time off and then you become successful. It's honoring yourself, it's honoring your gifts and what you're here to do, and embracing that. And the more that I took care of myself, the more I attracted clients, the more people wanted to know how to do that. So it's amazing. Karen is doing some really powerful work in the world. I'm excited that she's continuing to collaborate with me on this powerful message and new things that are coming, and I'll share a little bit more about that in a bit. But from this place, I actually want to move over to Laura. So Laura, if you want to share a little bit about yourself and your own journey. And yeah.
Before you go to Laura, Maribel, just wanted to let you know that I do have Gil on the phone, mobile.
Okay, great. So we'll you want to put her in now then, Kim?
Gail, can you talk, Gail?
Yeah.
There she is.
Okay, yeah, so my journey started when I was 13 years old, and that was when I discovered numerology. And numerology is all about aligning with your higher purpose, getting in touch with your life purpose and your talents and your abilities, and also with the natural cycles in your life. And I've been fascinated with that for over 32 years, and with numerology, I could see people's higher potential, their higher self. And in that process, I saw that even though I could see people's higher potential and higher self, that they had blocks that they couldn't always get to their higher potential. And then when I was in college, I was discovering energy work and energy healing, and I had been on a journey of healing myself. I was also in very serious accidents when I was in college, and the alternative healing really helped bring me back to life. And so even though I could, like I said, I can help a person unblock and unlock to their highest potential. And I'm also a conduit of energy from the celestial kingdom, and this energy is highly powerful in healing and triggering personal and professional quantum leaps, and also in problem resolution. So anytime where a person is blocked, I can clairvoyantly see where they're blocked, and using the powerful energy as a conduit from the celestial kingdom, I can help a person unblock very quickly. And how that helps the new superwoman is it helps them to align with their divine purpose and in their higher potential. And as they do that, everything else falls into place for them. And they can live more from their heart and be in their power and be examples to the world of the divine feminine.
Thank you, Gail. I'm glad we were able to get the technology to work a little bit better. It still wasn't super clear, but I hope people could hear. It's not easy to get somebody on the phone and have it be really clear, Kim. But we're going with the flow on the show, and again, this is the first show. We're working out the technology, and that's what happens. I think sometimes when you've got people from calling in from all over the world, and sometimes the technology is not doesn't go as smoothly as we'd like. So thanks for sharing, Gail. Gail has actually been a healer, I want to say, between 20 and 30 years. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's been a long time. She has a lot of expertise, and I met Gail early in my journey, probably the time where it was 2 years ago, maybe 3, where I was at my lowest, and Gail actually was my healer for a while to help me work through some of the traumas and blocks in my own life and open up to just what I was here to do. So I'm glad Gail's here. She does amazing work, and appreciate you, Gail. So with that, I actually want to move over to Laura. So Laura, I know I introduced you as well, and just we met and felt like kindred spirits. We just connected so well because of everything Laura would tell me was like music to my ears. It was the practices, the being very grounded. She just brought so much to the table of teaching women just with her expertise of how to stay in the flow. And so, of course, she spoke about that in the summit, and excited to have her part of the book and what's coming next. And so, Laura, if you want to go ahead and share a little bit more with everyone.
Well, first of all, what I have to share, and I just think this is so comical, is, just with technology, and I mean, it's a constant practice. Even now, even when I was trying to get, the banner at the bottom of my screen here, I finally said, okay, surrender. It's just not going to happen today. It's not going to happen right now in this moment. And that has been what's defined my life for the past, it's been 6 years now since my transformation began in 2007, July of 2007. My mother died in my arms, and within 5 days, I found myself fighting for my own life. I was faced with a life-threatening diagnosis. I needed emergency surgery, and I was basically being told, you need to get your things in order, and weren't sure, what was going to happen from there. All I wanted to do was come home, curl up, find a quick something to read, something to grab onto, to get my mindset in the right place. And I remember very specifically coming home and writing in a journal, I'm not afraid to die, but I'm not done living. And as a result, that has become the book that I'm releasing this year in November. And it chronicles that journey and all the lessons and all the wisdom that came from going through that process. And that's actually how I met you, was because you helped coach me through that book writing process. So prior to that, I've been a successful entrepreneur for years. I run businesses. I love what I do, and I'm not done yet. There's many things I love to do, so it's a matter of really how do I merge all this together, but at the same time in a way that I could really serve myself. So I basically did a 180 in my life after healing from this life-threatening surgery that I had to undergo. I basically relaunched one business and completely rebranded another business, and just got really clear about who I served. In the meantime, I found myself, I've always women, just in my with my beingness, I was always the go-to person that people come to when they need help. And I've always known that my life was going in that direction. But it really having a daily practice and trusting the process as you go through it. It's we can truly design our lives the way we want to live them. And I have a wonderful life. I have many challenges on a daily basis. I have, my 2 boys that were diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. So I don't know if any of you out there have ever raised children with an ADD. It's a challenge. But it makes life interesting is all I can say. But I would say at this point in my life, I'm very, very excited about what's evolving in my life and the next phase of my evolution as I launch this book and really entering into what I want to help other women, and that is really living a divinely inspired, passionate life. Because as a result from what happened to me, everything I ever knew, being a student of metaphysics for many years, also an angel therapy practitioner, boy, the connection was never more profound and more intimate than during that journey. So it was a big blessing. And I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to share how I got through that time and how I've really, been able to relaunch my life. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. And as you all, are here listening, we each have a journey filled with blessings in disguise. They're just our own pathway of learning a better way, right? They were part of what sparked this new journey. And what I have found is many times those blessings in disguise are what we're to turn around and teach to other people so that they can enjoy some of the, I call it the peace, playfulness, and prosperity. So what was born from this place? The summit, of course, shared the message, and 26 women shared from their heart around their own journey, of course, sharing that they made it through more powerful in the end, and they were all sharing their gifts in different ways on that 7-part pathway of the new Superwoman vision. And from that place, a book was created because I knew the message was strong and it needed to continue, not just from the summit. And as people emailed me and sent me messages and called me and said, we want more than that. We want to know more about how do you live this type of life. And we're very inspired by the message. It went on for 7 weeks long, and people stayed and continued to connect. So from that place, a book was created to be able to share this message continuously forever, right? You could have the book and continue to learn. And from that place, it was in my heart, and I know many of the co-authors' heart, that there was more to the message, not just a book, but there was actually a bigger vision for this. And it was a way of being, and if we could teach this way of being, then people would be able to enjoy that now in all of the work that they're doing, right? Have peace on a daily basis, have fun in their business and life on a daily basis, and be very prosperous in their business and life. And so the message went further. And so what we've done from this place is create a special gift package, because what I know, and maybe I'm just speaking to myself, but what I experienced was that I was a really great giver, but I was not a very good receiver. And so that cut me off from having peace, playfulness, and prosperity, right? Like I was overwhelmed, so there was no peace there. I was not having fun. I was working really hard, and I wasn't very prosperous because I was cutting myself off from the flow of receiving. So what I learned to do was practice this muscle of receiving in all areas, receiving support that would allow me to live more peacefully, receiving support that would give me space to have more fun in my business and embrace, having fun in my life, and receiving support through clients, right? Receiving client money, being good at receiving money. And in that created this wonderful flow in my life that I became even more passionate to share with others to be able to create that. So what we've created, myself and my collaborators, is a way to practice this muscle of receiving. It's called the 14-day giveaway. It's 14 days of gifts to practice receiving yourself, right? So what we put together is really amazing tools, and we're going to share a few of them now. Really amazing gifts, and you may notice there's a website that's showing up here. It's called thenewsuperwoman.com/gifts. And that's where you can go if you want to see what I'm talking about. We basically prepared some gifts to be able to share, and they're all in support of the 7 areas that I mentioned at the beginning of this show. Those 7 areas, just ways that you could be supported, beginning with, I think one of the first gifts is a meditation that I'm sharing. It's one that I used over and over again to get really grounded and figure out what did I want to create in my life, and make sure that I was really focused on creating that on a daily basis. And sure enough, when you focus on something, what you focus on expands. So as I focused on what I really wanted to embrace and really start to enjoy that, things happened rapidly. So that's one of the tools that I am sharing along with many others. Again, it's 14 days of gifts. So every day you get a gift in your inbox that supports this message, supports the learning, and the entire 7-part pathway of enjoying the new Superwoman and just really embracing that in your life. So I actually want to ask each of my co-authors here, my partners, to share a little bit about your gift so people know what to expect when they accept the 14 days of receiving. So if you'll share a little bit. And Kim, do you know if Gil is available to share? Yes, Gil? So if you want to share what your gift that you're sharing with everyone, just a little short description, and so that way they know what to expect.
Sure. Yes, I'm sharing a gift. It's a free report. It's called The 3 Things That You Need to Know About Your Life Purpose for Greater Clarity and Connectedness. And in that report, you will get my 32 years of expertise in metaphysical science of numerology to help you align with your life's purpose energy.
Great. Thank you, Gil. And Karen.
You're welcome.
Yes, so the first gift that I'm offering to everyone is an audio recording called Transform Yourself, Transform the World. And it's about how to go through your own personal tsunami of what you may go through as a wounded healer to heal yourself and to move forward and break through any disempowering habits and create new empowering ones. And I also have on the gift page, you'll see my e-zine and also an opportunity for an Ignite and Implement Activate session. So you'll receive all those 3 gifts on my gift link.
Perfect. Thank you, Karen. And Laura.
Well, I'm sharing a copy of my daily mantra. I really feel that having a daily mantra and tools to help keep you grounded and on a daily basis is really important. So one of the things that I have several tools that I use on a daily basis which keep me in check, keep me on track, keep me focused. And I think that having a daily mantra is one of the most powerful tools that you can start your day with. And so I love this daily mantra. I mean, it specifies right down to drinking enough water and fueling my body 6 times a day and taking time to meditate and exercise. But it's done in such a way when it was divinely guided. It was, well, I call it a divine download, the way it came through. It took about 2 weeks for it to finally come through clearly. But when it was done, it works for me. And as I've shared it with other women, I've gotten so much great feedback on it, like, oh my God, this is my screensaver. I recite this every single day. It's really, they love it. And it's actually pressed against a beautiful photograph that my husband took when he took a journey up to Washington a few years ago of a double rainbow. It's a real photograph of a double rainbow. And what it signifies for me is that we're never alone. You've got these 2 beautiful rainbows side by side. One is brighter than the other, but they're right in line with each other. And that's so much of what I talk about in my book, is that we're not in this world alone. We're not in this life trying to do it by ourselves. We have so much help in the invisible with learning how to connect with that and employing it in our lives on a daily basis. So for me, simple, easy to remember tools work. So I'm sharing one of my favorites.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. I agree. I mean, simple is better. I know I used to feel like I needed to overcomplicate things, and of course that made things hard. And I've now embraced this theme of simplicity, keeping things really simple. It allows for a lot of ease, and of course, getting a lot of results when things are really simple. So there's a lot more gifts. We just shared just a touch of what with the guests here today are sharing, but again, it's 14 days of gifts. And so I just invite you, if you resonate with the message of the new Superwoman, again, it's all about creating a life that's on your own terms. It's nurturing who you are as a woman, nurturing the vision that you have for yourself and creating success, nurturing the relationships that you have in your life that would support you being able to create your vision. It's nurturing, yourself and your health. I'm hearing some background noise, but I'm just going to keep going. Maybe it's just me. But nurturing your body, honoring your body, and taking good care of it, as Laura was mentioning, and also being willing to step into this new vision as a new Superwoman. It's not about doing more. It's embracing, the vision you might have for yourself. And generally, I find that women have these amazing big visions. I know the women here on this call have these really big visions, and it can get scary. It can get really scary to step into that. And as I mentioned, I'm scared at least once a week. I was scared before this show. and in that, I laugh about it because I embrace that is part of the path. And I'm willing. It's part of the playfulness in the Superwoman vision. It's that I play with life, and that I know that if I am willing to step into the big vision of who I'm here to be in the world, that yes, it requires me to be uncomfortable and expand. It requires me to go through things that would allow me to, step into who I am on a greater level. And that means stretching. That means being uncomfortable. So it doesn't mean go run yourself ragged. It means embracing that if you want to step into your vision, yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, it's a little bumpy. And being willing to play with that and step into that big vision. And the last piece is, of course, the flow, right? The flow is the daily practice. All of these women here are in that, I call them new Superwoman because they embrace that everything we've talked about today in their lives. And I see all of them just really opening up to such a big vision. They're all doing amazing work in the world. And, of course, we are collaborating in a big way to create some new things that are coming. I'm not going to tell you about them yet, but for now, we just want to shower you with gifts that share more about this important message, that you really can create this way of life. So if you're in a place that's the opposite of that, then this might be really like a breath of fresh air to be able to learn more about this pathway. There's, I mentioned the healing. I mean, that was one of the biggest pieces for me in my journey, is opening up to the healing that needed to happen for me to move into my bigger self, my more powerful self, and embrace who I was. That, sure, I had traumas in my life, and they were just part of the path, and I could just take from that and move forward. It didn't need to be baggage that I carried for the rest of my life. So there's a lot of important pieces of this message, and so I hope that, or actually I invite you, for those that resonate with this way of being, to collect and access the free gifts that we've prepared for you. Again, it's 14 days. You'll see the link right there below my name. It's thenewsuperwoman.com/gifts, and it's 14 days of gifts that we're sharing along this message. And of course, we're sharing specifically the expertises that we bring to the table. We all have gifts along with this way of being. Another gift that I'm sharing is around launching, because that's what I do in the world. I absolutely love to launch, and I share with people how you can do that as well. So with that, I actually want to just do a quick roundtable. If anyone has any final words that you'd like to share with our listeners today on this topic of a new Superwoman vision, feel free to open that up to anyone who has anything they want to add.
Gail, Maribel, we had a comment from one of our viewers. She said, her name is Dawn Ferreira. She said, great show. Love to see it with all the bliss. It is like when we watched live TV years back. Real, totally awesome. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for everyone who's listening. That yes, there's the flips that are happening here, and we're just going with it. We're having fun on the show. It's just going to get better from here. This is the first one, and I appreciate that you said that because yes, there's definitely that happening. So thank you, Dawn. And I don't know, Kim, you can let me know if there's questions that are coming in at all. I'm happy to address that as well. And those that are on, Karen, Gail, Laura, I'm sure would be happy to comment if there's anything specifically that anyone has for them or in general.
Well, okay, I have another question for you. Oh, sorry, Laura.
I was just going to mention the same exact comment because I was reading it over here on the side screen in the chat, and what I love is that this experience right here, right now is so real. I mean, to the way life is. I mean, being a superwoman is really surrendering to our dreams and our visions along with all the things that we're challenged with, but being in a place of peace, prosperity, and playfulness with it. Learning to laugh about it. It's kind of funny. So I find it humorous the way the universe is constantly challenging us to practice our practice. And so I'm grateful to see the comment too. Thank you, Dawn. It allows us to unfold from that place even more.
Well, one real quick question was, will you have a community for all the people who sign up for the gifts program?
Yes, there is the new Superwoman community, and when you sign up, we definitely want to connect with you even further. So what you'll see is you'll immediately get a welcome message that also invites you to connect in many other areas, whether it's Facebook, Google+. We have a special group so that we can continue to connect because there's a lot of new things coming. In fact, I can't even hold myself back, and I am going to tell you that behind the scenes, we are working on the new Superwoman retreat. It's going to be an amazing experience. I wasn't expecting to share yet, but I cannot help it. Sorry, ladies. I have to let people know because we've been it's been such a vision to create this retreat for almost 2 years, and it's happening in November. So if you want to stay in the loop of this particular new Superwoman community and what's coming up next, I think the first step is to access your gifts from that place. Let's connect on social media. The links will be in your email, and from that place we're going to be communicating with you everything that's coming and ways that we can connect live, not just video, but in person. So, very exciting. Yeah. Any other questions, Kim?
I can share something, Maribel, which I know is a part of what I shared in the book that's going to be released. It's about really honoring yourself as a woman, and as a woman, it's actually biologically that we need to build oxytocin, which is a hormone, and that's the only hormone that actually can reduce stress in a woman. And a few ways to do that is just to nurture yourself and to spend a spa day with yourself and take a bath, read a book, send yourself flowers, and just generally nurture and pamper yourself. And that's so important as a woman, particularly our biological needs. We need to start building oxytocin to reduce our stress.
Thank you for sharing that, Karen. I know Karen has a lot of expertise around honoring yourself and really even more of the technical side of just having the oxytocin, right? We're going to provide that actually at our retreat. We're going to nurture you for those that decide to join us. And again, it's coming. The details are on the way, so I'm glad that you're connecting with us on this first show because we're going to be sharing more on the next 2 shows. But we wanted to provide a live experience so that women could come and experience that, experience practices live. There's nothing more powerful than for powerful women to come together and experience something. I know that women are going to leave different than what they came in because we are going to immerse in this and in a way that is I shouldn't use the word immerse because it's I feel like that's hard, you know, and we're not trying for it to be that way, but coming together to really nurture and embrace these practices. And yes, it's at a most gorgeous retreat center. It's beautiful, and so the goal is not only to learn some of this, but also embrace the nurturing that will happen there. So we've set it up in such a way that that's going to be happening as well. So it's going to be an amazing experience, and I had to spill the beans. I couldn't help myself. I had to share it now just because I know there's some of you that just know, and I'm not going to limit that from happening. So I'm planting the seed. If that's you, just stay connected, and we are going to be sharing really soon. Within the next week or so, we'll be sharing more about that. So it's very exciting. Anything else, Ken, before we wrap up the show today, as far as our listeners and any questions, comments? I want to invite those. There's going to be a lot of people who are listening after. This is the very first show. For those that are listening after, I invite you to connect. You still have access to these gifts, of course. Connect, and invite you to access them, to connect with us on the social media platforms that are listed once you receive your email from us. And of course, that's the best way to stay connected. And of course, you'll also get the schedule for the shows that are coming up. So as you know, the focus of these first 3 Google shows are about the new Superwoman, because that has really been a big part of my own journey. That stepping into who I was and embracing the new Superwoman vision is what has me launching like crazy in a fun way, which it's what has me decide to take inspired action and create this show to be able to connect with you even further. It's what has me inspired to connect with, you know, the beautiful women who are here and actually create a live experience. You know, all of those things are scary, but I embrace my new Superwoman in myself and be willing to feel the fear and do it anyway, take care of myself on the way, enjoy the journey on the way, you know, do the practices that keep me in the flow, and continue to share, because I know that that's my mission, that's my purpose. And so I'm excited for those of you that were able to join in live. Excited for those of you that are listening later. I hope you can join the next one live, and glad that you all were here. I so appreciate you all and being able to connect. And so I want to thank everyone who was able to come on live today. I want to thank Gail for being here. I appreciate you, Karen, Lecky, appreciate you being able to make this event, considering you have your own event happening right now as well.
I know.
And Laura, thank you for being here. Laura is really working behind the scenes on this retreat. It's one of her own visions as well, and so we're going to make that happen. It's going to be a beautiful experience. And I want to thank my producer, Kim, who, you know, I met Kim recently, and she's who planted the seed that I could really have this show, and it could happen within 30 days. How about that? How about that for inspired action? So, so thank you all, and for the listeners, thank you all for being here. I so appreciate being able to connect with you on video, no matter the blips and all. Just glad we were just here, and how we would be if we met you in person. So glad that you were able to connect with us on this first experience. But look for those reminders. I know you're registered now, so we are definitely going to connect, and I hope you can be on with us again. We invite participation, so join us so that you can actually ask your questions, connect with us. It makes it a lot more fun. So with that, I want to wrap up our show today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all, those of you that are listening later. Great to connect with you, and I look forward to a lot more shows together with you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.